Somebody has to do this, and since nobody else wants to, I guess it will be me. Again. I will break down this week's Tesla semi-truck event with my reactions, but this will be very different from what you've probably already seen in the media. I will point out things that other YouTubers and journalists seem to conveniently miss. I'll tell you what they've missed, why they've missed it, and we're gonna start right now. Welcome to E4 Electric. Real quick, if this is the first time you're watching one of my videos, well, this video is kind of a counterbalance to all of the reporting you have seen on this event, mainly by Tesla fanboy channels here on YouTube, and the mainstream publications don't usually like to challenge that narrative not to lose the clicks from the Tesla crowd. So even though on this channel I usually try to present both sides of the story, something I've been trying out for about 6 years now, I feel like the first side of any Tesla story is usually covered pretty well. As a matter of fact, if you believe everything you've heard from them, you'd think that the Tesla semi-trucks were delivered by Jesus Christ himself. I have seen so much misleading and untrue information already put out there by the Tesla fan channels that in addition to reporting the information they've decided to hide, I also have to challenge the information they didn't. By the way, for today's humble brag, if you will, can I just point out that it looks like for the last 5 years, I have been the only influencer who has ever been behind the wheel of this little monster. Now, I am not saying that I am that good, I'm just saying that the security at that event, wasn't. So let's go over the key moments of the event and what was said, and then I'll point out what wasn't said, which may just be as important. Okay, so first I want to point out that it was very cool that the stage was essentially a flatbed of a trailer. Very nice touch. Okay, here we go. Let's dive in.
Yeah, I can't believe it's been 5 years. We unveiled the Tesla Semi 5 years ago. It's been a lot that's happened since then, to say the least.
Yes, good point. It has been over 5 years after the unveiling, and Elon is right. A lot has happened since then. One of them is that at least 3 other manufacturers have already brought their own electric semi-trucks to market. Deliveries of the Volvo VNR electric semi with a 275-mile range started back in 2021, which I actually got to drive. That was pretty cool. Daimler's Freightliner e-Cascadia with a 220-mile range, which I got to ride in as well, and even Nikola Tre with a 330-mile range. Deliveries for both started this year. Now, obviously, these range numbers are about half of Tesla's, but per Tesla's own slide showcased during the original unveiling, and here it is, 80% of routes are under 250 miles, and one can argue that it makes more sense to build fast chargers at each destination rather than pay for twice as much battery capacity to make a round trip on one charge.
Yeah, we're looking forward to actually delivering our first production trucks to PepsiCo, so this is going to be fantastic.
Yeah, and also a huge thank you to all of our other customers. I mean,
Wait. Who this? I mean, somehow someone started talking behind the camera and all of a sudden we see this guy next to Elon. No introduction, no graphics. This was very odd. Now, come to find out, the guy is Dan Priestley, the senior manager of Tesla Semi Engineering, and I had to search for his name and the title for a while because many articles don't even mention him, like he wasn't even there.
It's actually 20% of US vehicle emissions because you've got a huge vehicle and it's being driven all the time. So when you factor in the number of hours driven and the weight that it's carrying, it's actually, although it's only 1% of vehicle production, it's 20% of vehicle emissions. And it's over a third of all the particulate emissions. So from a sort of health standpoint, particularly in like cities, this is a huge impact, like it's gigantic. So that's why we're doing it, so.
No, that's not why you're doing it. I mean, don't get me wrong. improving the air quality, especially in larger cities where people die from lung diseases all the time, is a big deal. But to be honest, and let's be honest, Elon does not care about people's health. He barely cares about his. If he did, he wouldn't have made his employees go back to work at the factory during the worst periods of the pandemic. Now, I am okay with Elon being a greedy billionaire that he is because he's done a lot of good, but it would be nice if he was just a little more honest about it.
Sometimes I get asked, like, well, shouldn't Tesla just produce, like, fast cars or premium cars or whatever? It's like, but what's our actual mission? Our actual mission is to accelerate the advent of sustainable energy. So that's why we're making this wide range of cars that don't really make sense from a brand standpoint, I guess, traditionally, but they make total sense when you consider what's the mission of the company. The mission of the company is to accelerate sustainable energy.
No, not buying that one either, because if it was true, if really that was the goal of Tesla, then Elon wouldn't be attacking every other company that's trying to contribute to that very cause.
Yeah, I mean, it looks sick. I mean, look at that thing. I mean, you want to drive that. I mean, that thing looks like it came from the future. It drives like it's like driving a Tesla, literally. It's fun. It looks awesome.
Okay, so this is where Elon and Tesla deserve all the credit, over and over again, because this is about defining the future. Now, I don't really think that too many trucking companies care if their trucks look sick, but the reason the Tesla Semi does is because it is very aerodynamic, which means you waste less energy when driving it. This is something that the truck manufacturers should have been doing a long time ago, regardless of what they are powered by. Same goes for Nikola, Volvo, and Daimler's electric trucks, because they can certainly use some of that aerodynamic design. That should make them go much further.
Actually, especially if you're not towing anything, you could zip around like it looks crazy. Basically, it looks like an elephant moving like a cheetah. It doesn't look right, frankly.
I do like that visual, Elon. That was a good one.
But the other reason that it's a beast is because it's also efficient. And you can go 500 miles on a single charge on one of these things. So it's the mix of those two that this is why this is a game changer. And what's awesome is both of those are enabled by our new 1,000-volt powertrain, which is the first vehicle that we're doing with that. And don't worry, there'll be some more vehicles coming with that.
Okay, so this is a big one. The 500-mile range with an 82,000-pound load has been delivered as promised, and as always, Tesla is once again setting up a new standard for the rest of the competition. The 1,000-volt powertrain is another one, but what's even more exciting is that it seems that Tesla will be moving to that with their other vehicles, which most likely going to include the Cybertruck. This is very important, as the fastest charging EVs out there already use something very close to it, ranging from 8 to 900 volts in EVs like the Porsche Taycan, Audi e-tron GT, Lucid Air, Hyundai Ioniq 5, and the Kia EV6. Tesla has been using 400-volt system all this time, so it's good to see them taking the lead again.
So we're using our existing drive units, power electronics, infotainment, our super efficient heat pump, HVAC system, and state-of-the-art inverters. So we're able to leverage the existing powertrain and elements that are already made at volume in order to achieve extreme efficiency of cost and capability. So.
Yeah, and it also means we get to leverage all the reliability that the active car fleet is doing.
All right, now we're back into the BS territory. I mean, first, did he just say reliability? I cannot think of the least reliable fleet of EVs in the last 10 years than Tesla's. I mean, reliability is just not their thing. It's amazing that they would bluntly say it off the stage like this, and everybody just eats it up. Also, it is great that a lot of the parts have already been on the market in Tesla vehicles, but it is yet to be seen if those same parts used in passenger cars can be used in monsters like the semi-trucks. So, could be a good thing? and could also be a bad thing. And both have happened to Tesla in the past. Only time will tell.
So to be clear, like these semi-trucks are running 24/7 between Sparks, technically in Sparks, not Reno, but most people think of it as Reno Sparks, and Tahoe. And yeah, this is technically called the Tahoe Reno Industrial Complex, or TRIC. Now, there's an interesting backstory about why it's called that.
Very.
Yeah.
Tell us the story. Where's the story? Are you just gonna giggle like that, YouTube? Actually, just keep going.
We've got a tri-motor powertrain system. And we're using the carbon overwrap sleeve. So essentially, we're using the plaid Model S, Model X powertrain. But we're actually enabling two of the drive units to actually disconnect so that they're not free spinning. So the efficiency is actually much greater in cruise.
Yeah, this is really unique. I mean, we're going with a tri-motor system.
Yeah, no. Again, this is not unique. There are other EVs on the road right now that have been using the same technology of the electric motor disconnect, including the Kia EV6.
So, some people out there say it can't be done. I don't know who might say that, but I've heard rumors. So we just did it. Yeah.
Okay, so this is what a lot of Tesla fanboys jumped on, including even a relatively respected publication, Electric. This is where Elon refers to Bill Gates, suggesting he said it could not be done. But that's not true. What Bill Gates actually said was that electric vehicles will probably never be a practical solution for things like 18-wheelers. That's not the same at all. And also, for some reason, and I wonder why, Sandy Munro, nobody mentions this, but Sandy Munro, one of the most popular Tesla fans nowadays, has said pretty much the same thing right here on the show more than once.
Okay, so here's the thing. I believe, first off, that hydrogen is probably not the fuel that I would pick for a car, but if I want to have a semi, if I want to have a VTOL, or I want to have an airplane, I think that hydrogen is a perfect application. He thinks that he's going to make a truck. I think by the time you put all the batteries you're going to need for that truck, it's going to be too damned heavy, and you won't have any room for payload.
But no one in the Tesla community is going to mention that. And why bother? When the supreme leader was very clear, pointing out the very person to go after, which they did. The other billionaire and not Elon's buddy.
Obviously, to charge a truck like this quickly, you need a high-power charger. So we developed a megawatt class charger that's just capable of charging at a megawatt to DC.
Yeah.
And it's our next generation immersive cooling, so it's liquid cooled, so you don't need like a gigantic elephant trunk of a cable. You can actually have a small cable, and that cable delivers a megawatt.
Okay, so this is another big one. 1 megawatt charging. Now the top speed at the Electrify America, Fastnet, Ionity, and other fast charging networks right now is 350 kilowatts. Of course, we don't know how fast Tesla can implement these and when the compatible Tesla vehicles will even be on the market, but it is yet another higher standard set for the industry.
For those that have worked and charged their cars on a V3 supercharger and the cable is nice and maneuverable, it's the same thing here, but now we're just shoving a megawatt through it instead. So this is key for high power applications like semi, but you want to tell them or do you want me to tell them?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be used for Cybertruck too.
Yeah. So this is coming to our superchargers next year.
Oh, how cute. You want to tell him? Okay, I'll tell him. But now, I know I just told you that we don't know when the 1 megawatt chargers are going to be on the market, and even though Elon just told us, next year, that does not change my statement at all. We still don't know, simply because Elon is probably the last person I would trust with timelines, and I don't even need to go that far to give you one of the million examples.
Production begins 2019. So if you order now, get the truck in 2 years.
And speaking of the original unveiling 5 years ago, if you have noticed, there were a lot of specs that were flaunted during that unveiling, but very much omitted from this one. From the 0 to 60 speed and a special sturdy windshield to things like the price and the autopilot implementation, which essentially is a signal to the trucking companies that they won't need the truck drivers at all in a relatively near future. Nice move accidentally forgetting that one, Elon. So now that you know everything that happened during that event, I hope that if you made it this far into the video, you're still just as excited as I am about this, because at the end of the day, it is incredible that the semi-trucks, the freaking huge gas-guzzling semi-trucks, are starting to shift to electric technology. And that is a win for all of us. I hope you all agree. I am looking forward to all of your comments. Other than that, see you guys next time, and remember to stay charged.